Hello, this is Mike Lively, and in this iteration of Knowledge Base Hunter, we're actually going to talk about surfing 20 dimensions. So last time in our previous video, we did 5 dimensions, and in this, I've actually extended to 20 dimensions. You see you have several cards here. Each is 5 dimensions, and so you have 4 of them, so that's 20 dimensions. And if you hold the Q key down, for example, you can actually move the Q around, and if you hold down the click button, you can actually go back from 4th and Z. Then you have the W key. You can move the W dimension around, which is actually a subgraph of your tree, and we're going to talk about that tree theory in a moment. Then the E key, of course, or the R key. So you can actually surf all these 20 dimensions. Now, there's a lot of theory that actually goes on now, so let me bring that up. And so in this part of the book, you actually go through a lot more of the theory of knowledge space and how it all comes together. And we're using graph theory in this portion of the book to explain everything. And here's the heads and tails tree, for example. And if you move on down and we get in more detail and we start showing you how you can create from a tree, how knowledge space can actually be created right here. There you go. And that's actually a point or branch in the tree itself. And you keep moving on down and you talk about graph theory and subgraphs and bipart graphs. And all that is explained in detail in the book, and then corollaries, and then we talk about developing this 20 dimensions. And so you look at how big is 20 dimensions. Well, now we're starting to get into the numbers, so because you have 34 exponents here in the 20 dimensions, and that's exactly where you want to start going with some of this, so you can actually get high into the surf range. So if you think of in terms of a tree, in the first bifurcation you have 380 million choices, and then with each of the different bifurcations on each branch of the tree, you have another 380 million choices. So it just gets larger and larger. So now you're starting to get into the large numbers, which is what we want to do. And here's basically just an image, and I discuss how the program is. Now, even though the math may be pretty intense here, it turns out the programming is really, really easy. So you can actually surf all this very easily just by using a simple switch case. And whenever I hold down my Q, my W, my E, and my R, I can basically search the different branches of the tree. So I'm actually able to search through 52 to the 20th power of different cases just by simple this 3D space holding down Q, W, E, or R. So it's pretty amazing, and yet the programming is extremely simple. So it's nice when that happens, when you have some really tight mathematics, but you have some easy programming. And we're going to see a lot of that happen over and over again. In the next example in Knowledge Base Hunter, we're actually going to start moving from this kind of a stepping stone application here, where you click here and you hear the music played of the different hands. We're actually going to start moving on to some more mature applications. So in the next one, you'll see something that's useful, and as we move on and on now, you'll start to see more useful examples with Knowledge Base. So go ahead and check out the blog at kshunter.wordpress.com, and you'll be able to play around with the application there and actually download the code from my Google site from there. Also, there'll be a little bit more explanation about what's going on here. And we're headed toward the end of Chapter 1, and I got a really cool example for you next time. So see you then. Thanks for listening. This was Mike Lively.